what you're looking on TikTok is not the truth. And I think that's really important to get that across. I think we have to arm our children with information. And a lot of products were leading to more pigmentation because of inflammation. And that's when my whole journey started. So my little cousin, who's 14, is obsessed with Hyram. And so every time she passes me, she's like, niacinamide. I was like, don't pretend like you learned that from me. I know you learned that from me.
Okay, let's get started. Hi everyone, my name is Tiwa Lola and I am a confidence coach and the founder of Confident and Killing It. Hi to everyone who's just joining. Feel free to share in the chat who you are and where you're dialing in from. We're so excited to have you here. As I was saying, I'm a confidence coach and I specialize in helping women believe in who they are, love themselves, and just show up ready to be unstoppable. I was actually a very insecure teenager and my skin was the biggest root cause of my insecurities. And so to be here today as a confidence coach, helping other women feel confident, hosting a panel on skin confidence with basically no makeup on is a true test to my confidence. So I'm just loving the energy and loving being here. So I'd love to pass this on to my panelists to quickly introduce themselves, say a little bit about who you are. Oh, thanks guys in the chat. My skin's glowing. Thank you. It's the self-love glow. It's the self-love glow. Okay, yeah, passing it on to my panelists to introduce themselves, say a little bit about who you are, and then we will get started into the questions. Okay, let me start off with Dr. Vanita. Hi.
Hi. So I'm a doctor and also a cosmetic formulator specifically for skin of color. I'm going to keep it really short and sweet and let the person talk.
Amazing. Yeah, short and sweet because we only have 45 minutes, so we've got to get into it. Okay, Hyram.
Hi, so I'm Hyram. I'm a skincare content creator focused on teaching people about the basics of skincare and recent brand founder of my own brand, Selfless by Hyram.
Woo! Congratulations.
Thank you.
Amazing. Nicola.
I'm Nicola, CEO and co-founder of Deciem, and probably were most well known for creating the brand The Ordinary.
Fantastic. And last but not least, Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah, co-founder and co-CEO of Glow Recipe, and we're all about being fruit-forward, clinically effective for glowing skin.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So everyone, as you can see, we are surrounded by absolutely incredible people who are super passionate about skin and know their stuff. So if you've got any questions, please use the Q&A functionality and we'll make sure we get to your questions at the end. And like I said, the session is being recorded and it will be on YouTube in a couple of days. So let's start off with breaking down confidence, because when it comes to skin confidence, there's the mental, there's the emotional, and then there's the actual physical side of your skin. So I want to start off with the mental and emotional side when it comes to skin confidence. And for me, confidence is a practice. Confidence is not something you're just born with. Like, we love Beyonce, but no one ever wakes up just going, yes, I'm flawless. Like, that would be nice. But unfortunately, it's not the reality for most people. We have to learn to love ourselves and learn to love our skin. So I want to ask, what was your relationship like with your skin? Have you always felt confident with your skin, or have you kind of like had to battle that journey with breakouts and acne, and how did that affect your confidence? Nicola, would you like to kick us off?
Yes, definitely during kind of school years and in teen years, I definitely suffered from acne. And, even now in my early 30s, there's different times, whether it was through, I remember my first pregnancy when I definitely had breakouts. And even now, they do still come back. And, for me, it's always just a signal of your skin trying to tell you something, and kind of, ultimately it's just, we all have it, but nothing changes who we are. And ultimately beauty is just being human. But it is difficult. And even now, like, I still get self-conscious if I have a breakout. I'm like, I work in skincare, I'm in my 30s, like, this shouldn't be me, but actually nothing changes, like you are who you are. And it really is just, I think, about believing actually really what does make beauty, and it's all about what's within.
I love that. Like, it's human, it's just part of the journey, you know, and you never fully arrive where it's like perfectionism doesn't exist, you know, and you will have your ups and downs. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. Totally agree. Hiram, what about you? How's your skin journey been?
Yeah, you know, my skin journey has been pretty chaotic. You know, there was the first struggles of breakouts and, you know, big pimples all over my face in middle school, and, you know, kind of dealing with the shame of, you know, not only being an adolescent and having to grow up kind of in that, you know, high pressure environment, but also, you know, the shame surrounding going and sneaking into my mom's makeup bag when she wasn't home to get some concealer to cover it up and hoping no one notices, you know, all of that. And even when I was in college and I really first started getting into skincare, and I saw, you know, pretty severe premature aging on my skin when just because I had never cared for my skin before, and the insecurity surrounding that. And I think what it's taught me, you know, initially was solutions on how to make sure that my skin is at its best health, but, you know, also the importance of like embracing the skin that you're in, no matter what state it's in, and focusing on how you're, you know, contributing to the health of your skin and the confidence of yourself. Because, you know, focusing on those two things is so much more important, I think, than hyperfixating on any specific pimples or issues or whatever you may having. And, you know, that knowledge that you're taking care of your skin, you're investing into your skin, carries me forward and gives me the skin confidence that I really need, and to not focus on, you know, the skin issues that everyone struggles with, and just to focus on, you know, your internal and, you know, external beauty.
Okay, we're gonna go into like how to embrace your confidence in the next section, so I don't want to like dive too much into that, but yeah, I can totally relate in terms of like sneaking into your mom's makeup bag. Like, I would go for sleepovers and make sure I woke up before anyone else just to quickly put makeup on before they saw me. Or like if I saw someone I knew, I would cross the road if I wasn't wearing makeup so I wouldn't have to see them. And I'm sure like every single one of us has been through that kind of journey in a way, but then you get to a point where it's like, actually, I'm more than my skin, which is what you started talking about. Like, it's more about the health of my skin rather than actually just what I look like. So I want to, you know, talk about sharing some tools and ways that we can actually have skin confidence and practical ways that we can do that. Dr. Vanita, Sarah, do you have anything to add in terms of like your acne journey?
For me, it was more melasma actually. So during puberty, I actually had quite good skin, and actually that can sometimes be a bad thing. I know it sounds a bit ridiculous, but basically you don't take care of your skin if there's no problem. And so I didn't wear sunscreen, and guess what? By the time I was in my early 20s, I've got skin of color. I started getting these cute freckles on my cheeks, and that's what I thought they were. And my mum said, no, that's early melasma. You have not been taking care of your skin. And if you aren't careful, it's going to spread across your whole face. And that's when I started investigating hyperpigmentation for skin of color. And there were no products for us, actually. And a lot of products were leading to more pigmentation because of inflammation. And that's when my whole journey started after I did medicine to become a cosmetic formulator, specifically for skin of color, so that we didn't get more PIH from the things that were meant to treat our skin. So it definitely took me in a different journey. Rather than working in a hospital, I started making creams, which was probably against the Asian culture, but I had a lot of raised eyebrows when I decided to make that move. But no, it definitely was the right thing for me to do. But yeah, that was my journey. It's a little bit different to everybody else's.
Priya said in the chat, I felt insecurity with my skin, and then I found Dr. V, and now I am most confident about my skin, which is amazing. That is thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Priya. So Dr. V, can you share some like practical things that, you know, you share in your videos, a few tips on how to build skin confidence?
Skin confidence, I think for me it's just being educated about your skin. I think we have to arm our children with information. So from 11 to 15 years old is when acne starts to colonize our kids' skin. But do our children understand about P-acnes? Do they understand what's going on with their skin? They don't. So we actually have to educate from a younger age than wait until we actually have the acne, you know, mid 15, 16. And then you've got all the trauma as well of puberty. So I would say start young, teach our children young. They should have a good skincare routine with niacinamide, 0.5% salicylic acid, wash, a very gentle oil mopping up type skincare routine. And once they're educated on their skin, they're going to be more interested in it. You know, they're not going to go through the same, you know, ups and downs that we went through, basically.
Yeah, amazing. And Sarah, really quickly, can you share a little bit about your skin journey and how you've built confidence in your skin?
Yeah, I can relate with what everyone else said about being, you know, self-conscious, embarrassed with small, you know, flaws on the skin or imperfections. But, you know, speaking of Asian culture that Dr. V mentioned, my inspiration for everything skincare comes from my mother and my grandmother. And I grew up actually in Seoul in my teen years. And I still remember, I mean, I think small habits really make a huge difference. My mom really almost forcing me to wash my face as soon as I came home from school. And to the point where she didn't let me snack or even sit down properly on a couch. I had to go wash my face, a full-on deep cleanse before I did anything. And then of course, wearing sunscreen in two layers and reapplying every 3 hours was something that I learned from a very young age. So I think those small habits actually go a long way. And I totally agree with you, Dr. Vanita, that being preventative goes a long way versus, you know, fixating on repairing, because that is a harder route. And I think skincare is never a destination, it's a journey. Everyone goes through the same process at some point of life. I know it can feel insecure and uncomfortable walking around, especially now with social media where you have to take selfies and show your real self. And people now can see through it if you've used a filter or Photoshop. And so there's layers of these complications now. And I know there's been a lot of research done that really show this, you know, insecurity with teenagers, especially with skin issues. But I think it's all of our jobs here to make sure that that is a journey and it's totally normal. And as a brand, that's what we're trying to do, to really leverage our platform to say, it's okay. You can have these tools. Your job is to keep your skin healthy, but it's never going to be perfect, and no one is.
Yeah. It's like whenever I go and thread my eyebrows, the lady's always like, eyebrows are sisters, not twins. They're not going to be exactly the same. I'm like, oh, fair enough. Okay. But you touched on a really important point about filters and social media. And Cult Beauty actually did a survey within the cult community and found that 45% of people wouldn't feel comfortable uploading an unfiltered image of their skin to social media. And, you know, we've seen so many stats about the correlation between teenage girls' confidence and self-esteem and their use of social media. So, as brand owners, I would love to know, like, do you feel like filters and airbrushing on pictures are destroying people's skin confidence? And how are you as a brand being intentional about making sure that, you know, you promote a healthy relationship with skin and show real skin in your media and your content?
So I can start with this one. I think it's really important for the brands to showcase images that are not fully photoshopped or retouched, especially if this is going to be an even more important topic with social media being such a key part of our daily lives. And so we actually made a statement as a brand. Number one, we don't retouch any of our visuals. Every model or every campaign visual that we use is unretouched, and it actually has been from day one. But we recently made a statement that we will no longer use some words that could actually demonize this whole, you know, beauty standard and make everyone feel even more insecure. So some of these words include perfection, perfect complexion, flawless, poreless, anti-wrinkle, anti-aging. I think a few years ago, Allure made a statement that, they're going to end the use of anti-aging. So we're kind of following suit there, but making that even more extended. Because if you think about it, poreless skin doesn't exist in the world. You actually need pores to keep your skin healthy. And so our goal is to really keep everything a little more realistic so that the unrealistic norms are no longer relevant. And I think it's just more important, again, for all of the brand owners, influencers, brand ambassadors to really think about that messaging and how that can really disseminate to the audience.
I love that, like being aware of the language that we're using, because it's just like, actually there's nothing wrong with aging, so why are creams called anti-aging, And I think as brands and media, we have the power to change the way individuals see their skin and feel about themselves. Nicola, I would love to hear from you.
And, I think it is so true, the language and everything Sarah's saying, we also don't airbrush anything. But I think the other thing is, sometimes the use of models, because actually, it can set an unrealistic expectation of what a product can do or actually what skin can do. So, in any of our content that we ever create, if we're using a human skin, it's always just our own team. Because, ultimately, we're lucky to have a diverse team, and ultimately, they're all real people, they're like all of us on this call, they're passionate about skincare, they're good people, and actually just showing those in our content, I think, is more real than actually kind of necessarily hiring models.
Yeah. Amazing. Hiram?
Yeah, I've been really grateful to, see kind of the narrative and the conversation in both kind of the influencer space as well as, now the brand space. And I think the, responsibility is dual-sided. I think, for my videos, I've never put a filter over my videos or anything like that. And I've had so many moments where I have a breakout on my face, but I need to film a video and I'm just like, well, let's go, let's do this, and I definitely feel that as creators, we do have a responsibility to show what our real skin is like, because especially because and I know for my audience, a lot of them are teenagers, a lot of them are young people, and whether or not they look to me as as an example in the skincare space, is it's just content that they're consuming, and the more that they consume that could be an extension of unrealistic beauty standards, the more it could potentially negatively impact their how they view themselves. And I know for me, once I started following a lot of creators that talk about skin positivity, that talk about embracing the natural skin, show their breakouts when they have them, I know for me it made it a lot more comfortable, and it just shows you kind of the impact that that can have. And even as a brand, with my own brand, I remember from the beginning when we were doing the photo shoots, I was like, I don't want any retouching. I want to show what real skin looks like. We can't continue communicating what the industry has for so long, these unrealistic standards, and we need to again focus on investing into the health of your skin, not expecting unrealistic perfection or these standards that have been in place for so long.
Absolutely. Authenticity is so important, and that's what people want. On my Instagram, I have a highlights called struggles, because I never want anyone to come onto my Instagram and be like, oh, she's so confident all the time, she's so perfect. It's like, actually, no, I have my fair share of struggles. So if you want to know what I'm insecure about these days, you can go watch my highlights. And I think it just makes you show that you're human and you're real and you're not here for perfection. And it just allows people to really connect with you on a deeper level. Before we move into the next section on the physical parts of skin confidence, I just wanted to say that when it comes to building your confidence on your skin, to anyone out there who's still feeling a little bit insecure and not very confident, I think one of the biggest things that helped me build my confidence was knowing that my skin is just one aspect of who I am. It's not my whole identity. It's not all of me. It is a part of me. So when I struggled to love my skin, I decided to deep dive into other areas of my life that I could practice loving. And so, I looked at my purpose, what are my strengths? What am I good at doing? And I focused my energy on embracing those other parts. And naturally, as I began to build my confidence in other areas of my life, I started to love my skin even more. And one of the other things I did was I would look in the mirror and I would look at all the different spots and I would go, Tiwa, I love you. And I would just look in the mirror, in my eyes directly, because the mean girl in my mind was going, no, you can't film that video, Hiram, like what you were saying. It's like, people are going to judge you. What are they going to think? And I'm like, what I have to offer the world is so much more important than a spot on my face. Like, if you think about the magnitude of your purpose, if you think about the magnitude of your potential and what you have to bring to the world, it is so much bigger than what you look like. So I really hope that just inspires someone to think bigger and not focus on all the mini insecurities and the imperfections, and to actually see yourself as a whole person who is going to do amazing things in the world. So moving to the next section on the physical side of skin confidence. Dr. V, I know you specialize in hyperpigmentation in Black and brown skin. So can you share how acne can differ on different skin tones? Because I think that's a very important conversation. When you Google like how to treat acne and you see images of only one skin type, it can really affect how you see yourself. So yeah, I would love to know how acne can differ on different skin types.
It's okay if I quickly just talk about the pathology of acne, how it happens, the mechanism, because then it's much easier to talk about ingredients later. I don't know if I'm doing the ingredients like somebody else says. But basically, if you, so the number one cause is during puberty, we have increased dihydrotestosterone. So that's basically your androgen hormone. When that shoots up, your sebum production shoots up. And when sebum production shoots up, it increases something called hyperkeratinization. Basically, your skin cells become sticky. So imagine your pores like this, and you've got now more sebum here, and now your the skin cells are sticky. So now you've created a blocked pore, and you've got anaerobic environment, no oxygen in here. And guess which bacteria loves an anaerobic environment? It's P. acnes. P. acnes goes berserk. It starts replicating like mad. And that is your spot developing. And the next question is, but Dr. V, why is P. acnes so bad? Haven't we got bacteria all over our skin? P. acnes is not good for you, because what it does is it converts triglyceride, sebum triglyceride, into glycerol plus free fatty acids. And free fatty acids are very irritating. That's the thing that leads to something called PIE, post-inflammatory erythema, and PIH, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So now I've got the red marks and the brown marks on your skin. So what you basically want to do for skin of colors, we have to treat the acne, the red marks, and the brown marks. So it's like a triple whammy. You can't just start treating the pigmentation, because you're going to get more pigmentation if you don't understand the acne. So basically, once you've understood that, then it's very easy to understand how to treat it. It's basically 4 key ingredients that we need. Number 1, we want niacinamide. We want to reduce the sebum production. Number 2, we want vitamin A. We want to reduce this hyperkeratinization. We don't want so many sticky skin cells. Number 3, you want your salicylic acid. You want to get in there and unclog that pore. And number 4, you want your benzoyl peroxide. You want to get in there and you want to basically poison the P. acnes with oxygen. And once you've done that, you're able really to treat your mild to moderate acne. So I think it's important to understand that much. And then when it comes to your red marks, you've basically 2 key ingredients. You want your niacinamide, so that works really well. You've already been using it. And azelaic acid, that's the other one. And then with your pigmentation, The Ordinary's got some great products, which I've got here. So they also have obviously the niacinamide, retinol, which is vitamin A, and alpha-arbutin. And also I've got Glow Recipe. Thank you so much, Sarah, for sending me these. So I've got your vitamin C, which is good for dark marks as well. And obviously the niacinamide that everybody in the world is talking about. And Hyrum salicylic acid, obviously brilliant, and I've finished it, and that's the only reason I don't have it on my table right now.
Yeah.
Those are just some of the ingredients that I recommend and I put on my page as well.
Amazing. So I like the idea, treat the acne first and then deal with the hyperpigmentation and the red marks afterwards, because you might just end up in a negative cycle where you're treating it on a skin level when actually you should be going deeper. Awesome. Okay, let's look at kind of, I know you mentioned some key ingredients there, but yeah, Nicola, I would love to hear from you as well. I know The Ordinary is all about building like a skincare wardrobe. So I would love to know, what are some key ingredients or key products that you have within your range to really kind of like, that you must have in your skincare wardrobe?
Yeah, so as Dr. V said, niacinamide is truly like a superstar ingredient. And I think, what's amazing is actually the benefits for anyone who is suffering from congestion. It really will help to balance the production of sebum. It will help to address, signs of congestion and large pores, visible shine, and any textural irregularities. But actually, I think it's an ingredient that actually works for kind of really all age types and has so many benefits across concerns, but definitely for anyone who is concerned around congestion and breakouts within the skin. It's actually our number one selling product across the whole brand by a way, and has been for the last few years, which again, I find amazing. When if you went back 5 years ago, probably wouldn't be as well known an ingredient as, vitamin C's and other things. So definitely is a superstar. And then of course, salicylic acid is, the true acne congestion kind of winner. And again, this one just really helps to promote exfoliation. We can see we've got it there. I think that might be the cell acid mask. And then we've got the androhyde solution as well, which is our waterless solution, which is on Cult Beauty. And this is really just helping with that exfoliation on the outer layer of the skin. So these are all the things really to help target it. And we also have our salicylic acid in a mask. So that's a product you could use once or twice a week. So again, just kind of adding these things in to really target those different elements of the skin to make sure it's glowing. And again, as Dr. V said, we've also got that azelaic acid, and we've got some different types of retinol depending on the strength that you may wish to use.
Amazing. Yeah, everyone in the chat is like, ooh, niacinamide, yes, so good. Love it. And then okay, great.
Hiram made niacinamide famous. So my little cousin, who's 14, is obsessed with Hiram. So she thought, every time she passed me, she's like, niacinamide. I was like, don't pretend like you learned that from me. No, you learned that from me.
That's amazing. That makes me so happy to hear.
Speaking of Hiram, I would love to hear from you. What's your routine for treating acne and breakout? What are some of your recommendations?
Yeah, so it really depends on the individual, but I will say what I noticed kind of across the board, usually people are interested in first, trying to resolve breakouts and acne when they're teenagers, and it can be really intimidating trying to build an entire routine, get all these products, build this completely new habit when you aren't even used to, kind of the essentials. So I always say, start with the basic 4 steps: cleansing, treatment, moisturizer, and sunscreen. Excuse me, sunscreen being the most important one to start. But I always, like they mentioned, honestly, salicylic acid is the one that I'm constantly recommending, or benzoyl peroxide in a cleanser form. I also recommend as well. Of course, the niacinamide is always an ingredient that I will never stop talking about because of just how amazing it is for the skin. But I always recommend to start off simple and then build your routine from there. So for some people, it can be really difficult even just putting 1 or 2 products on. So in that case, I usually recommend, okay, use a gentle benzoyl peroxide cleanser and say a moisturizing sunscreen, and work on building that routine. And then when you can add more to that, you can add a niacinamide, serum to it. Maybe add, like the moisturizer from Selfless by Hiram, the niacinamide and maracuja daily barrier moisturizer, if you want some of those niacinamide benefits while also getting that moisturizing experience. You can also use, salicylic acid, whether that comes in a mask or like the Selfless by Hiram, salicylic acid and sea kelp serum. There's just a bunch of different ways that you can build it, but I always recommend to start off simple and build it from there, because it's going to be so much better that you put into habit the essential steps of a skincare routine rather than go out and buy 10 products and use them all at once and then not be able to sustain that habit because of just how much of a workload that is when you're not even used to, really starting with a routine. So just focus on the simple, the basics, and work your way up, and be selective about the, treatment ingredients that you use, but all the ones that have been mentioned so far are, in my opinion, I share with you, the best to use for helping to fight breakouts.
Amazing. Yeah, I love that. Start simple and then build up, because how many times have we gone down a YouTube rabbit hole I bought so many products. Yes.
Same.
And then you're like, I'm going to start a brand new skincare routine. It's going to be amazing. And then 2 weeks later, you're like, oh my God. So that's really, really great practical advice. So we're going to go into the Q&A in a bit. So if you've got questions, please send it to the Q&A and we are going to get to them. But last question from me is, now I was diagnosed with polycystic ovaries, PCOS, when I was about 15 years old. And so acne has just been like me and my life. We've been through it all. And, you know, I've watched the videos, I've changed my diet, I've done this, I've done that. And I know there might be some people who are going, I've tried everything and nothing still works for me. And then you go on TikTok and you see people's transformation videos and you see like one video where they had like red marks all over. And then the next video is like glazed donut skin. And I'm like, how are they doing that? And when will it be my time? So for people who kind of, you know, feel like they've tried everything, yet nothing is working, or they are in a comparison dark hole because they're seeing people have these transformations and it's not working out for them, what advice would you give to people in that situation? Who would like to go first on that one?
I can go.
Yeah, amazing.
I think this is actually my personal philosophy as well as Glow Recipes, but we always advise everyone to first listen to their own skin. And I think that actually applies to this as well, because everyone's skin is different. Your skin condition, your skin's concern, you know, varies every single day depending on your lifestyle, your sleep habits, your mental health condition. All of these are external variables that you can't really control, but will have an effect on your skin. And actually, there's a saying in Korean that your skin reflects your mental condition. It's like a very commonly used phrase. And it's because, again, your skin really is part of your body. Just like you're giving yourself supplements or drinking water when you're feeling extra tired or dehydrated, you should treat your skin the same way. And I think that, you know, you might have tried everything that you've seen on TikTok or you've read online, but your skin is definitely going through a different phase than somebody else that you've seen. And also the ingredients that you need might be different from someone else too. Again, depending on what you're going through. Maybe you're also layering too many products, you know, to Hiram's point, should we, you know, take it step by step and make sure that you're taking a break in the middle as well versus layering acids, you know, retinol, vitamin C, all these ingredients all at once can also shock the skin. So, you know, taking it easy, listening to your skin, trying one active ingredient at a time, and then working your way up. Exfoliating, you know, gently but regularly is really important too. And make sure that you're cleansing super properly. I think that actually is game changing. If you really cleanse properly, thoroughly, are you double cleansing? If you're not, then are you using that one step once again to make sure that you are erasing your makeup or sunscreen, all the debris from the day? Because that changes everything. So I think kind of taking a look at what you're doing right now, your lifestyle once again, and then feeding your skin with what it's asking for is your number one step.
Really slowing down to like tap into your intuition and feel like what your body needs, what your skin needs, and then taking it from there. Yeah, I think that's amazing because there's a whole bunch of, you know, solutions and advice online, but at the end of the day, what works for you might not work for somebody else. Awesome. Yes.
What I want to add quickly is that the TikToker, you need to understand the mentality of the TikToker. What is their purpose? Their purpose is for that video to go viral. How do you make a video go viral? It's not by telling you the truth. It's not by going, right, so I'm taking Roaccutane and I'm putting on antibiotic cream on my face. It's the before, the after, and boom, it's like, you know, get 1 million views on this video. So it's not the truth. What you're looking on TikTok is not the truth. And I think that's really important to get that across. Just because they're saying I've done X, Y, and Z, that's probably not all they're doing. They're probably on Roaccutane. So I just want to make that point because it's not real, you know, like it's important to know the reality of the situation.
Yeah. Take everything you see on social media with a pinch of salt. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, anything else to add before we go into the Q&A? Awesome. Okay, let's do it. So first question, hello, is it possible to minimize and prevent more acne blackheads with enlarged pores? Is it possible to minimize or prevent acne blackheads if you've got enlarged pores? What can you do? No one specifically?
Shall I answer that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so I would start with your salicylic acid. What you want to do is you want to unclog that pore, and we want that skin to snap back. So basically, when you have more open pores, you're likely to have comedones closer to the surface, and so the sebum oxidizes, and that's what's looking dark. That's what looks like a blackhead. So if you're making salicylic acid part of your normal routine, using your mask, I use this the week before my period, like we all should be doing this. But basically, just make salicylic acid part of the routine. And the other thing you want to do is stimulate collagen, because with age, you lose elasticity. And so again, the skin doesn't snap back around the pore. And so even taking collagen supplements is a good way. Microneedling is another way. Various exfoliating acids will also help.
Okay, fantastic. Next question. How do you balance acne treating ingredients with nourishing your skin's barrier with like restoring products? Any nourishing seems to break me out, but I'm worried I'm not doing enough for my general skin health. Okay, so how do you balance treating the acne with like your general skin health and like those nourishing products? Sarah, Hiram, would you like to take that?
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, first of all, good job for like focusing on balancing those two things, because I think sometimes people can get so caught up in the I want it now, instantaneous results, just, slamming your skin with really powerful ingredients and not focusing on the nourishment. I'd say I would recommend two different things. If you notice that you are breaking out from, you said like using nourishing products or using those ingredients that are supposed to really help, strengthen your moisture barrier, I would say maybe, take a look at the product that you're using, or maybe switch up what you are using. You could have a potential sensitivity or irritation to one of the components or ingredients that's in that specific like moisturizer or hydrating serum or, barrier supporting serum, whatever it may be. I just always recommend that in general if you do notice, some type of sensitivity or irritation, which your breakout could be potentially. But also, I do recommend looking at the concentration or the percentage of the actives that you're using and how frequently you're using them. I've seen a lot of people like on TikTok or in my comment section saying like, I don't get it. I'm using, the salicylic acid, every day. And I'm noticing these bad results. And a lot of times it can come from them using really strong concentrations very frequently, like morning and night, and not really giving their skin the rest period to really, focus on not only, being able to best utilize those ingredients to give the best results, but just giving your skin a break when it needs it. So I'd say maybe slowing down. I can't remember who said it before. I think it was you, Dua, who said slowing down is always great advice that I recommend as well. But Sarah, I'd love to hear your recommendations too.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Hiram. I think it's important to see what type of products, to your point, you're using and the concentration levels. Because like I said earlier, if you're layering potent, harsh actives all at once, your skin will not react well. It's just, every skin actually needs to be taken care with delicate care, just like your baby is what I sometimes say, because if you treat it with gentle care but work your way up, it's going to be more adjusted properly. And I would say that, not all skin is equal. So your skin might be reacting even more sort of in a bigger way than your friends who's using the same exact product, the same exact concentration level. There are different alternative ingredients. For example, if you're using, retinol or vitamin C, and you haven't really had great reaction on that, maybe try thinking about encapsulated ingredients or natural alternatives, or ingredients that have other things in the blend like ceramide or nourishing oils that can kind of act like a buffer versus just that harsh ingredient straight up. Because again, every skin is different. I also recommend starting with a patch test too, because again, you don't want to apply it all over your face, go through that reaction, and then try and repair that after. So I definitely recommend using a little bit on, this chin and neck area and seeing if your skin reacts, and then again, apply it for the rest of the skin. The other thing I wanted to mention is that a lot of oily skin types think that nourishing products can clog their pores or not be hydrating but oily. And again, I think it depends on the types of product that you're using. Personally, I have oily combination skin, and I know that oils work really well on my skin, but it also depends on how I feel about it. It's a preference. So typically we recommend lighter textures or oil-free formulas for oily skin types, but there's definitely ways to balance that again and work your way up, because your skin all needs hydration, right? And you don't want to not have that. So what does your skin really absorb? What does it like? Kind of experiment with it, explore what your skin loves, and then again, you'll have more options.
Thank you, Sarah, for mentioning that very key point that you can have oily skin, but skin that's also dehydrated, and hydrated and oily skin aren't the same thing. And I think that's a trap a lot of us fall into. So always hydrate your skin, but yes, you can also control the oils, the oil balance on your skin as well, but make sure it's hydrated, because dehydrated skin can also cause breakouts. Amazing. Nicola, I've got a question for you when it comes to like layering different products and how best to do that. So someone's asked, I've got a range of The Ordinary's products, hyaluronic acid, alpha abrutin, niacinamide, etc. I'm struggling with knowing which serum to use when. Do I alternate the use of them daily, or do I layer them together? I've got lots of post-pimple pigmentation on my chin. So I guess she's trying to tackle that.
Yeah, so whenever you're layering products, I mean, the general thing we say is to go from the thinnest, lightest texture up to a more thick texture. We also say to tend to try and max about 3 serums in any kind of AM or PM routine, just because if you're layering much more than that, you're not really going to get the true benefit. So if you're using more than 3 different serums, we would then recommend breaking them out so that you have a different routine in the morning and a different routine in the evening. Now, in terms of hyaluronic alpha arbutin and niacinamide, that's 3, so you could use them together. And actually, I would use them in the order of the niacinamide first, then the hyaluronic, then the alpha arbutin. And then you can use those morning and evening. But then if there's any other actives you want to bring in, that's then when you could start to break out and have a different routine morning to evening.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, I know a lot of people kind of don't know what to use when. And also, are there any products that don't go well together? Because that's another thing that could be messing up your skincare routine and causing breakouts if you're using products that don't work well together. So have you got a few at the top of your mind that you know don't work well?
Yeah, so anything with a peptide in, you have to be careful in terms of what else you use it with. So any acids, for example, if you use glycolic and then you put in something like buffet with copper peptide, the skin's going to be in the wrong pH, where actually you're not going to get the right benefit from using that. On our website, and we have this with Cult too, we've got all of the things that work together in terms of building regimes, the things that don't, because I've seen there's a few questions specifically around building them. And you can also, my email address, because I know almost at time, is nk@deciem.com, and I can come back to you with all the specific building the regimes with the team too.
Amazing. So in case anyone missed that, on the Ordinary website, there's like a guide for you to build. So definitely check that out. And you can also email Nicola as well. Okay, last question, because we need to stop at 2:50 on the dot, but I'm hoping you've all really enjoyed this panel discussion and gotten some answers to your questions. I know there are a few more coming in, but I think what we'll be able to do is maybe collate all of them and find a way to still get some of your questions answered. But I think Dr. Vanita, you would be good to answer this one. How do people deal with hormonal acne? What are ways to prevent it, and how can they deal with it?
Did I cover that before, or is it a different question? Do you mean menstrual cycle acne? Like,
Yes, I
what,
think so. Yeah, yeah. Like hormonal imbalances, menstrual cycle. Yes.
So I actually switch up my skincare routine 1 week before my period. That's when your skin is most oily, and so that's when you're likely to get a pimple. In fact, my husband knows like my mood is bad. I have a spot on my face, and he knows I'm about to start my period. It's literally like clockwork. So basically, I do my salicylic acid mask, the 2%. And I use light gels in that week. So my moisturizer is no longer fatty nascent moisturizers. It's gels plus salicylic acid mask and then salicylic acid washes. That way I don't break out actually the week before I'm due, basically. So I think something we don't talk about enough is cyclical changing of your skincare. For females, we tend to talk about seasonal changes, but actually it definitely helps me to switch it up throughout the month as well.
Amazing. I never thought of that. So thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, to finish off, I would like everyone to name your go-to product for breakouts from your own brand, because you're all boss people in here with your own brands and changing the world with your incredible products. So if you had one product you could name that is your go-to product for breakouts, what product would it be? Hiram, would you like to start?
For sure, yeah. So it's the Self-Inspired Hydrating Salicylic Acid and Sea Kelp Pore Clearing and Oil Control Serum, the one that Dr. V mentioned so kindly. Yep, I got it. Thank you.
Adds to basket. Nicola, what's your go-to product?
It would be a niacinamide 10% serum. Yeah, that would have to be the number one to add.
Fab. I've got that, so I'm good. Sarah, what about you?
It would be the Watermelon Glow PHA and BHA toner, which is actually one of our top sellers. And you can use it every single morning and night because it's really gentle, but it also goes deep in your pores.
Fantastic. And Dr. V, what would your product be?
So mine's a bit different actually. So I am launching Skin Revolution with
Wow.
I'm sending all of you guys a copy because you're basically all in the book. It's basically, I've got a whole chapter on acne and also talking about skincare for skin of color and how it's a little bit different and product recommendations, etc. So this is coming out in March. I'm so excited. But yeah, I just thought I'd do a shout out.
Yes, congratulations. That's amazing. Okay, so we have come to the end of this session. I believe the Court Beauty team have put the link to join the Melanated Beauty session with Deja Ayodele. So if you'd like to join that session, the link is there. But again, big thank you to all the incredible panelists for the wisdom, for the gems, and for keeping it real and sharing your journey with us. Thank you so much to everyone in the chat for being such incredible participants and for asking such great questions. I know I learned so much today and I was taking notes, so I hope you have all learned some stuff too. Again, the recording is going to be posted on YouTube, so if you missed any bits or you want to go back and write the notes and create your skincare regime, you can go back and check out YouTube for that, and we'll find a way to make sure that everyone's questions got answered. Amazing. Thank you all so much. And yeah, enjoy the rest of the days and the session.